what I figured out as an artist in the lockdown is that, and as a smaller level artist in India, is that it's very democratic. All the advantages that bigger stars have gone away.
Hi everyone, joining us today is Vedas. Veer, thank you so much for taking time out to do this with the Quint.
Nice to see you, Diksha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? How's the lockdown and everything? How's the phase been for you?
It's been an interesting year. I can't complain too much. I haven't had to wear underwear in about 8 months, which is what I always dreamed about, to be successful and not wear, trousers or shoes for about 8 months is an ideal universe.
A lot of people through the lockdown sort of complained about not feeling creatively motivated enough, not being able to write a lot. Did you ever go through that sort of a situation? And even when you were doing these interactions over Zoom, did you feel the pressure of just not feeling creatively at your best?
I think so. I think you have that every day in different measures. The job is to then lean into that or to then write about that or to sit with that and be present with that. This special really came about as not wanting to do a special. I had zero plans to do a special at all. I had a very successful special, Touchwood, in January. And then as a comedian, you're supposed to wait at least a year and a half between stand-up specials for them to be really good. So I was just doing these Zoom shows to fundraise.
Just understanding and logistically going about Zoom and, having these people on a call. What was it like? Was it something that easily got to you?
If you look at what my last 3 Netflix specials cost, in terms of the cameramen and the stadiums and the setup, and you spend crores to shoot a Netflix special.
Right.
This costs less than 1% of those things because it's literally, it's one stack of books and one DSLR camera that I've had for 5 years and one SD card. So it's not a technical special at all. I wasn't even wearing a mic. It just sort of happened. So even that is kind of freeing to say, Acha, we're not making a high quality thing, right? We're making something that is authentic and something that will purely stand on the feet of its content and nothing else.
You were asking everyone one particular question of what they want to do once the lockdown is over. What were some of the responses that got to you and, sort of made you think?
The little things always I like more, which is, somebody's like, I want pan, or I want ice cream. And then you say, why do you want ice cream? And you say, because I have it with my mom, who I haven't seen in this long, I like telling those stories. I think you have to be on your toes because at some point I realized the audience is the star of this show. I have to put the audience front and center and I have to enable their story. So I have to be so humble and so relatable and so approachable that I get them to open up a little bit and to share a little bit more. But also I have to be very quick-witted because there's no script. I must have had 400 minutes of footage,
Wow.
And then I just sat with my laptop and me for a month and said, let me edit this together. Then I showed it to my team and I was like, does this feel like anything to put out? And then I sent it to Netflix and Netflix was like, we love it, we want it. And I'm like, but let's use it to raise money first. So then we put it out on my website for that 1 week.
We've seen comedians have really seen a really difficult time in the beginning, because an open mic was probably the only earning for them and that's how they, were probably going on to test themselves as comedians as well. Did you ever think about if you were at a different point in life, how you would have been through the lockdown?
The thing about India and the thing about especially the artistic profession is no matter how fortunate or unfortunate you feel, there is somebody who is more fortunate or unfortunate than you. And if that doesn't motivate you to work much harder, then I feel like you're not going to evolve as an artist. So it's been a very long lockdown for thespians and dancers and singer-songwriters and producers and comedians, theatre actors, etc., etc., etc. So you just kind of look back and say, okay, I've been given this platform, and I have this fan base. How can I weaponize this fan base for something? So for me, thinking about that really led me towards fundraising. Like that was my main goal during the lockdown: is how much money can I raise? Because I feel like public figures, we should be held accountable for weaponizing our platforms. We can donate for sure, but once you're done donating, don't pretend like that's all you can do. You have gigantic fan bases. And many brands coming to you for weaponizing your fan bases as a brand. If a brand comes to you and says you have millions of followers, here's money for posting something, there's no reason your millions of followers cannot be used to fundraise and to help those in need.
You're a successful comedian and you wanted to make it big as an actor. At what point did you sort of figure out that maybe just acting is probably not something that I should pin my hopes on, and I should probably look at other things also?
I don't pin my hopes on anything. Yeah, I don't think that's an easy way to go through life. If you think that when I started doing stand-up in India, 2009, there were no clubs, there were no other comics, there were no audiences coming out for ticketed shows. So stand-up was not really a safer bet at that moment in time. I still don't think about it that much. I'm fortunate enough where I don't have to do either to pay the bills. So you're at a point now where you don't have to be on tour 52 weeks a year to make rent. And you also don't have to sign movie after movie after movie after movie just to pay the bills either. So at this point, you can kind of say, okay, this idea intrigues me, or this idea intrigues me. I want to tell this story, or I just want to be on stage and, eat pizza and travel for, a month, and you get to do those things. But I feel like that's where authentic content comes from. But if you're like, मैं ये करूँगा और फिर मेरा ये होगा, and I will pin hopes, people like that don't succeed, I don't think.
Through the lockdown, we saw a lot of people coming up with philosophical sort of interpretations of what we were going through, right? And now as things are getting back on track, the little understanding that we probably had is sort of, going away. People are sort of doing away with whatever learning they had. Do you think that we're just going to be back to who we were, and, humans are just creatures of habit, so we'll go back to being who we were and not living with as much empathy, which probably we felt during the lockdown? Because
I hope not. I hope that the behavior that got us here doesn't, resurface in 2021. My learning for the lockdown is just authenticity of content. The importance of that. What I figured out as an artist in the lockdown is that, and as a smaller level artist in India, is that it's very democratic. A lockdown like this, in terms of Kanye West is making a video from his bedroom, Akshay Kumar is making a video from his bedroom, I'm making a video from my bedroom. And they may be very different budgets of bedrooms as such. But at the end of the day, we're all just doing the same thing. So it's a very even playing field in terms of all the advantages that bigger stars have gone away. And now if you're just doing good content, just good words, or just good music, or just good sketches, etc., that has as much of a shot as anybody else. Even if you were a big Bollywood star, your movie was releasing on the same platform as my comedy special was releasing on. You didn't have your single screen, etc., etc. So I think if you're going to find a fine lining or a silver lining to any collective tough experience that we've been through, I think it's that for artists, this is a democratic, even playing field, or at least more democratic than it's ever been before.
Thank you so much for the lovely chat.
Thank you so much.